Okay, people. So now we are going to start about IELTS writing. Okay, and it is week one IELTS writing. So we are going to talk about how to train others for taking up IELTS and doing the writing part. Okay, so we'll be starting with the first thing first. Now, here is the PPT which I'm going to run today. So I think you would be able to see it. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes,
It
yes.
is.
Okay, let's start then. So IELTS writing, what we need to understand first of all from IELTS writing that IELTS writing is what exactly IELTS writing is, like how many tasks are there, what is the time duration, and what are the things which are there like essay or letter or academic task. What are those things? We are going to talk about that. Okay, so let's start with this. So first of all, you need to understand that what IELTS writing consists of. So IELTS writing can be of two types. First of all, IELTS exam, as you know, there are two different setups. That is, one is general test, another one is academic. So IELTS writing general test is divided further subdivided into two parts. That is, task one is a letter and task two is an essay. Okay. Similarly, for academic program, the IELTS is again subdivided into two parts. That is, task one file or graph, etc., and task two is essay. Okay. So first of all, you need to understand that there are two tasks in IELTS, whether it is general or academic. Whether it is a general test or whether it is an academic test of IELTS, whether it is computer based or whether it is pen and paper based, everywhere the format remains the same. Okay. So now let's move on further. So IELTS general training we are going to talk about first. So the task one is a letter in general training exam. So general training exam is for those candidates who are going out for immigration. They are going to immigrate for professional job or something like that. So task one is a letter which you have to write 150 words. You have to write in letter. Task two is an essay. Essay again you have to write 250 words in an essay. If I talk about the time, it is 20 minutes which you need to spare in the letter, and time is 40 minutes for writing an essay. Now, it is very important, which nobody will be telling you just like that. It is like you need to understand this that value or the weightage of IELTS task one, whether it is letter or academic task, only task one is one third, that is 33.33%. And value or weightage of an essay, IELTS essay is two-thirds, that is 66.66%. But people do what? I'll tell you one thing that recently I met with few of the students, four students from the same background. So they told me that we are very worried about like task one. So I told them that task one you shouldn't be worried about because task one is carrying a weightage of one third only. So they were surprised. So what you need to understand is people are of the notion that task one is very difficult. It is a letter writing or an academic task. So it is difficult. But actually task one holds a lesser value. Okay, you need to understand and you need to communicate it with the other students also. Now, moving on to the next part, it is like what type of letter, if I talk about what type of letter would be there, so there would be three types: formal letter, semi formal letter, and or informal letter. So, any one type of letter can come. It is not like all the three types, it is only one type of letter would be coming out of these three. Now, if I talk about the essay, it would be on any topic of global importance. Now, when I talk about global importance topic, you need to understand that the essay will not be related to general knowledge. It will not be related to general awareness of related to your country, like what are the key points or key features of the budget, financial budget, which is going to get presented. No, it would not be like that. It would be not knowledge based. It would be technique oriented. So how you can write English, how you write English on a normal general topic. Now, see, you are going to appear in this exam from Delhi NCR or India, any part of India, but others are going to appear in this exam from Singapore, Abu Dhabi, and the related places and various places, foreign places. So for those people also, I mean, the essay would be almost the same type of. So the essay will be of such nature so that everybody can write something in the essay related to that particular topic, and it should be a global topic. Like smoking is a global topic. Like something related to yes, like mother and father, the upbringing of children. This is global topic. Okay, social media. This is global topic. So these type of. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. IELTS Academic. The similar things are there as you can see. Only the task one is getting changed. And here you can see that the task one, it is same words, 150 words, 20 minutes time, one third weightage. Essay will remain the same exactly. There would be no change in the type of essay. The type of essay will also be the same of global importance. It would be almost same. Now the next thing is, which we need to understand, that what type of IELTS academic task would be there. So first one is bar graph, second is line graph, third is pie chart. It could be a picture, it could be a process, it could be a table, it could be a map. But most of the time, bar graph, line graph, pie chart comes. Sometimes picture also, right? So this you need to understand that the IELTS academic comprises of these all things, and these things are going to come. Okay, now let's move on to the next slide. If at any point of
Excuse me,
time,
sir.
yes, yes, please.
So, what is a picture? Like, what will be
It
in the
could be a
picture?
picture, it could be a heavy picture, it could be a similar picture, it could be a picture in which there would be like, for example, there is a teacher who is teaching on a whiteboard, and there are some students sitting, and the principal is coming, and he is on the door. So you need to make out like what is happening here, right? So you need to tell
Okay,
them,
we need to
you need to
observe.
just observe and you need to write down. So
Okay, okay,
generally,
okay.
like I would say, the probability of this type of picture would be lesser. The probability of bar graph, line graph, pie chart is more. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Anybody, if you are having any question, you can ask anytime in between. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So I want to show you the answer writing sheet which would be available in a pen and paper based exam. Okay, so you need to see this. Just a minute. So it is a writing sheet as you can see. So word limit task one. You can see that this is the sheet. Now, task one and task two sheet will be exactly the same. Only the difference will be that it would be mentioned here task one or task two. Now, here you need to write your name, the center number, the candidate.
Sir, I need to add something. Sir, I need to add something. There are two sheets. Task one is white and task two is colored as a yellow,
Okay,
light yellow color.
a little difference is
Just to
there.
let you know.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
Because Ankur has recently attempted, so he is knowing better. Okay, so task two, task one, color can be changed, but it would remain the same. And there are around 15 lines are there on in this page, the page number one. Okay, and there is the I'll be showing you the other sheet. This is the other sheet, as you can see the back side of it. So there will be some things down there which would be there for the official use. You don't have to use it. Okay, and this is the front sheet. I'm coming here again. Now, how many words you have to write? That people generally ask. So like people will be asking, okay, so I have to write 250 words. So how much additional I can write? Or what if I would be writing less than 250? So if you'd be writing less than 250 words in an essay, or 150 words, less than 150 words in a letter or an academic task, you would be definitely be penalized for this action. So there would be a penal action. That means there would be deduction of marks, obviously, if you'd be writing a little lesser. But what if you would be writing more than required? So if you'd be writing for 250 words, if you'd be writing 350 words or 400 words, definitely you'll be getting out of the format. Format of the exam is very important because there would be various paragraphs which you need to adhere to. You need to say or you need to tell about your things in just four paragraphs, and it would be definitely be going here and there if you'll be writing more than required. So what could be an ideal or an optimum number of words which you can write is 10% more. As you can see here, 10% more means 250 words. If the essay is there of 250 words, write 275 to 280 words. And if the writing task one is 150 words, so you can write up to 175 or 180 words. That would be sufficient. Don't need to write extra. Now, how many lines you have to write into, for example, now there is an example which has been given here. So first of all, what you need to do is, like, for example, I'll be telling you how to count this. Give me 1 minute. So like this is the, so this is the sheet as you can see here. Just a minute, guys. Uh, please give me a minute. Okay. So sorry, I kept you. I was just finding a document. Just a minute. As you can see now here. So for example, this would be the line number one. Okay, and then there would be line number two. Then there would be line number three. So what you need to do is you need to just write three or four lines, and you would be understanding what is your average per line. Like for example, I would be writing like this, and my I would be writing various words. So my average would be like here, for example, I would be writing 10 words, and on the next one, I would be writing again 9 words. Then I would be writing some 8 words. Okay, so my average is generally, I mean, if in this case it is like, for example, it is 10 words. So if my average is 10 words per line, so please tell me by doing this math, everyone, that how many lines are required to write 250 words? If I'm writing 10 words per line, tell me how many lines are required?
So 25.
Exactly. So 25 lines I need to write. And what about if I would write 280 words or 290 words? For example, let's see that I would be writing 280 words. So obviously 28, isn't it?
28 years.
Now I'll be telling
So marks has deducted for writing extra words, no?
no, not extra words. You see, extra words, the marks will not be deducted unless and until you'll be writing too much extra. So 250
Okay.
words, if you'll be writing, 290 words, if you'll be writing, within 300, a threshold is there. If you'll be writing, then you will not be penalized. Okay, but do not write more than it. My recommendation to you. Now, 280 words.
Santosh, as per you told us in the class itself that there should not be more than 8 words per line.
No, I told you that it depends on your writing. Like if it is your
Okay.
average is 8, everybody's
Okay.
average is different. Okay, like for example, Pooja would be writing in 7 words per line, and probably you would be writing 10 words per line. I would be writing 8 words per line. It depends. Okay, there is no threshold for that. Okay, be very clear. So if
So the our end goal is to write a passage or an essay within the 250 words or not being extended to 275 words, not more than that.
no, no, no. What I'm saying is that you can write a 250 words plus 10%. That is 10% of 250 is 25. That is 275 to 80 words.
Yep.
275 to 280 words would be an optimum figure. Okay, so that
Okay.
that is what I'm recommending you to write. Okay, now let's talk about this 28 lines. So now you are going to write 28 lines. Yes, it is an example. Okay, so now how to divide these 28 lines? It's very simple. That how many paragraphs I need to write in IELTS essay? We need to write 4 paragraphs. Okay, you can write more. It is not like that. But what is an ideal recommendation is to write four paragraphs. So how to write these 4 paragraphs? Now try to understand. Simply just do a simple math 28 by 4 and it would come as 7 lines. 7. 7 is what? That means 7 lines per paragraph. Okay, so 7 lines per paragraph means 7 lines almost for an introduction paragraph, 7 lines approximately for a main body, 1 or the body paragraph 1 we call it as 7 lines again for MB2, main body 2, and 7 lines for conclusion. But generally, I mean, you can do a generalization that, okay, I'm going to write this 7 lines, 7 lines, 7 lines, 7 lines. But in actual, it never happens like that. It is just an approximation. So what happens in general? So what happens is that the main body 2, it actually gets extended. Why? Because you need to write in most of the cases, you need to write some, various things like opinion. You need to write various examples. So it gets extended. So what it will be doing is, it will be simply doing the math. It will be just, we'll do what? We'll be adding 3 lines to it and making it 10, and we'll be deducting 3 lines from it and making it 4. Because conclusion, not more than 3-4 lines are required. So try to understand. Now, in introduction, generally it is like three or two elements are there, three elements are there which you need to write. So it generally takes 70 to 80 words. Generally, for 50 to sometimes people write in 40 or 50 words also. Then you can increase this by 10 and you can reduce it. So it depends. So what I need to give you an idea, I just want to do here is what is I just need to give you an idea about this particular thing which is there. Okay, that how to do this, how to write this is it's very important. So this is the fun of writing sheet. Okay, everybody understood this?
Yes, sir.
Any
Yes,
questions
sir.
you have?
No,
Not
sir.
yet.
Okay, then let's move ahead. Now, few preliminaries for IELTS essay writing. Let's talk about few preliminaries before hitting an essay. So we'll be starting with few preliminaries. So what we should be careful about. Okay, so first thing you need to division of content into paragraphs. As I told you that there should be 1:2:1 as same thing. 28 lines, 7 lines is to 14 lines is to 7 lines. What is this? There should be two. There should be paragraph 1:2:1. That is, one is introduction, two are main bodies, main body one, main body two, and one is conclusion. So 28 lines, 7 lines is to 14 lines is to 7 lines, as you can see here. Okay, here. Now, introduction. The first thing is introduction. That is one paragraph. Main body two paragraph. Conclusion one paragraph. Now, we need to understand the importance of brainstorming and question. Now, the moment you'll be getting the question, the moment you'll be seeing the question, you'll be reading the question, it is ideally, it is told or it is recommended to you should like read the question for not less than 5 to 10 times. Okay, sometimes 5 times. If you are well, if you have practiced a lot, 5 times would be sufficient. But initial days, try to read the question 10 times because the question sometimes says something else and you understand something else. Okay, so don't do that. So for that, what you need to do is, first of all, you need to read the question properly. And before writing anything in the sheet, always try to do some scribbling. Always try to make a strategy. Always try to make a plan that how I'm going to attempt this particular question. So what type of plan it would be? It would be a plan in which you would be thinking about what to write in main body one, what to write in main body two, because first of all, it is very important to understand that what you need to write in main body one and main body two. Okay, introduction can be started after that. Okay, but before that, before actually writing it on the sheet, you should have a clear layout that okay, I am going to write this, and here this thing will come, here that thing will come. So for that, you can take up to 10 minutes for brainstorming, for making out that what I need to write, where I need to write. So 10 minutes would be sufficient time. Why? Because I'm telling you, see, you are privileged that you'll be getting 40 minutes to write a 250 word essay. Generally, in other exams like PTE, they give you just 20 minutes to write an essay, and that also on the computer. So what we are going to do is we are going to take proper advantage of these 10 minutes, and we are not going to waste it. What people generally do, I tell you, that they think that they have to sit in some competition and they have to write it quickly. So most of the people, they do what? The moment they get the essay, they just start writing it just like that, and they want to finish it as soon as possible so as to get through the exam and submit the sheets and go back to home. But don't do that. If you have 40 minutes, utilize each and every minute. Okay. So 40 minutes you are going to invest in this essay so as to get a better outcome. Do not work on this essay less than 40 minutes. So for 40 minutes division, the ideal division would be what I'll be telling you. I think I should be, yes, I have this time management sheet on which you can see that the moment you'll be getting it, you'll be reading the question and brainstorming. It is the main thing for the main body. Why? Brainstorming for the main body is important. Why? Because main body would be carrying the actual content, which would be actually be verified, which would be actually be seen, which could be determined using the band evaluators. Okay, band evaluators means how to give this person the score. So there are various parameters for that. So that's why brainstorming the main body is very essential. So brainstorming main body, 10 minutes. Writing an introduction comes after that. That is 10 minutes. You can think, you can plan, you can write in 10 minutes because it is quite simpler. Writing the main body. Then again, earlier it was brainstorming for the main body. Now this is about writing the main body. That is in 10 minutes. So if you have a plan ready, you have a picture in place, you can easily write it in 10 minutes. Now writing conclusion 5 minutes, checking the answer 5 minutes. Checking the answer is very important. Writing conclusion is also important. Don't skip it. Conclusion writing will take 2 to 3 minutes, not more than that. But you should have a proper conclusion. You should have a proper closing of your essay. And then checking the answer, I would say, checking the answer would always be fruitful for you because it will be giving you some or the other advantage to strike off those unnecessary things or unusual things which shouldn't be present, or you could have forgotten some of the other things, so you would be putting a few of the things in that place. Okay, so you should be checking your answer. Okay, so proofreading, right? What we call it as. Okay, so it's about that. Now let's move on to the other part as we are talking about the brainstorming part. So read the question many times, plan, strategize, think, and then to get ideas for the main body. As I told you, do not write quickly. You have 10 minutes for brainstorming. Now let's move on to the next part and see time management as I told you. Now, now comes the format of an essay. So how to write an essay? What would be an ideal format of writing an essay? So it would be like this. There would be like first in the introduction, you need to write three important points. You need to touch three important points. That is, first we call it as neutral background statement. Second is paraphrasing, and third thesis statement. Now, after writing this particular paragraph, which in this particular case, which you have taken, like we are writing 280 words around 250 plus 10%, that is around 280 words. So 70 words would be written here in introduction. Main body, argument one, argument two, as you can see. So it is like main body one and main body part two. We call it as body paragraph one also and body paragraph two also. So in this particular section, we are going to write 70 plus 70 in this particular case, that is 140 words. Now, conclusion, again, 70 words are reserved for conclusion, but we can always do the shuffling as I told you. Now, this is the format of an essay. Let's move on further. Now, let's see this introduction. So, first of all, as I told you, that to write a neutral background statement. Now, let's try to understand what the neutral background statement actually means. Then, paraphrasing, then thesis. So, neutral background statement means what? It is an icebreaker with the readers. So, IDP says that before writing, or Cambridge says that before writing, you should do an icebreaker with your readers. So that means the moment you'll be getting the question, you'll be reading, you'll be making a strategy, then you'll be starting to write. But it should not take opinions or sides. It should be a simple statement by which you can start. So a sentence which should be related to the background of the question as well as it should be neutral in opinion. As I told you, it should be neutral, right? So introduction, neutral background statement. So this is the question as you can see, like it is a sample question which we have picked. Many people believe that women make better parents than men, and that is why they have the greater role in raising children in most societies. Do you agree or disagree? Okay, I'll give you 1 minute to ponder over it. Please see the question. I hope this question is clearly visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's see what it is further there is. So first of all, I'm going to talk about a hook. A hook is a thing which is there in IELTS, which is like which clinches the interest of a reader, which makes a reader to read more. So people think that if I would be opening with a very good lines, something I would be writing out of the box, out of the world, it would be beautifully summarized and written. So it would give a good shape to the essay, and it would definitely help me in getting more, good marks or better marks. So first of all, we need to understand what a hook is. So see, hook is like this. For example, in this particular thing, I put this particular thing as a so that you can understand as a hook. So an ounce of a mother worth more than a pound of a clergy. Okay, so an ounce of a mother worth more than a pound of a clergy. So what it is exactly? Might give. Okay, sorry guys, something came up. So as you can see from here, we were there, and it is like from current slide we are going to start. So introduction, neutral background statements. So this is the hook. So what is a hook? An ounce of a mother worth more than a pound of a clergy. So this much of a mother worth more than this much of a father. That means an ounce, a pound. Pound is greater than an ounce, more than an ounce. And we are not comparing mother with the father. Rather, we are comparing mother with clergyman, something more respectable than a father is. So, how's the statement, people? Is it a good one?
Yes, sir, it is. We are not comparing mother father, that's why it's neutral.
It is something which is greater, which is good, which looks good, which people would admire. People would say, yes, this is the line I was looking for, right? And this is a neutral background statement. These days, there is an ongoing discussion among people about parenting. So the
So your screen is not visible.
so sorry. Okay, so is it visible now? So as I told you that this is the hook and this is background statement.
Hmm.
So the line which is written in red, it is actually not required. So that means hook is not required. And if I talk about neutral background statement, so it is required. That's why it is written in green. So now you need to understand that this the second thing which is written in green is actually something which is a neutral background statement. The first one was more inclined towards mother. That means you are taking opinion or taking you're creating opinion, you are taking sides. But you cannot do it in the first go because as we told you that neutral, it should be neutral in opinion, but here it is not neutral in opinion, it is more inclined towards mother. But here it is neutral in opinion. That's why. And yet it talks about the background of the question, that is parenting. Right? Let's move on to the next part. You can ask the questions if you have. Now, let's next thing is paraphrasing. So most of the people are uh, thinking about paraphrasing, like what it is exactly. So let's talk about it. It is like rewriting the question statement in your own way using different words like synonyms. So what you'll do is whenever you'll be getting a question, you just need to rephrase it. You need to write it in your own using various synonyms. Okay. Or you can churn the sentences also. The first thing last, the last thing first. You can do like that as well. Okay. So, for example, this is there. Many people believe that women make better parents than men, and that is why they have a greater role in raising children in most societies. So, this is the excerpt which we have taken from the question. Now, we are going to paraphrase it like this. So, see what we have done. The same colors you need to see the same colors in many. In place of most, we have put in many, and in place of societies, we are writing communities. For upbringing kids, blue is blue, that is raising children. So we have changed it into upbringing kids. Raising children, that means upbringing kids. But kid is an informal word which will not be used in the IDT related things. So we'll be saying that upbringing young ones, probably. Okay. And prominent role or greater role is converted into prominent role is played by females as a guardian than male. So that women made better parents than men. So it is completely changed into this. And as most of the individuals think of, as many people believe. So we have changed many into most, people into individuals, and believe into think of. Okay, so can you see that? It is paraphrasing. So,
Yes, sir.
okay, so this is paraphrasing. This is the part two of an introduction. Now let's move on further. Now, next thing comes is thesis statement. Now, what is a thesis statement? Many people, I mean, same question. Thesis statement will be
It
how
will
much?
be a conclusion of the paragraphs, I guess.
Yes. So, how much
So the opinion time, when you will give the opinion.
exactly your opinion? So, first of all, like the question asks, like, how much do you agree? So, it is like that. You have to say that how much I agree. It is an introduction to your ideas. You have to put your opinion using a phrase for the first time in this essay. So, for the first time in your essay, you are going to write your opinion that where you stand. It is actually giving your essay a standpoint which is required, which is of utmost importance. Why? Because it's a parameter. Task response. I mean, I'll be showing you what are the parameters. So there is one important parameter there, that is task response, which says that in every opinion based essay you need to take a standpoint that where do you stand. So whether you are with X or Y, whether you are with the first thing or the second thing, in this particular case, whether you are with mother or father, so you have to take a stand because it asks you that do you agree or disagree. That means who is better at parenting, mothers or father? Do you agree or disagree? So either you can agree or either you can disagree, but you cannot say that I agree and disagree at the same time. No, that is not possible here, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to write a thesis statement. So how to write that? Here it is. This essay will further discuss more about how women are better at parenting than men. So this essay will discuss more about how women are better at parenting than men. That means you are taking the side of women, right? So indirectly you are quoting your uh, opinion in an indirect way, but yet you have taken a standpoint that yes, women are better than men at parenting, right? Let's move on further. This is done. So this is end of writing essay introduction. Okay, so this is how you write an essay introduction. Now we are going to talk about writing marking criteria. Task 2. So criteria of evaluation in IELTS essay. It's very, very important because if you don't know this, you cannot train students in a proper way. Okay, so each criteria is of 25% weightage. You can see there are four criteria. First is task response, then cohesiveness and coherence, then use of lexical resources, and then grammatical range and accuracy. So these are the four important things. Now we are going to understand each one of them in detail. So first of all, cohesiveness and coherence and lexical resources, we are going to talk about this. I'll be telling you in these about these things, but first of all, I'll be telling you about this thing called task response. Give me 1 minute. So here we are going to write down task response, and I'm going to download something. Just a minute. I have something with me. Call it as band evaluators. So these are the writing band descriptors or the band evaluators for task 2, that is essay. That means how to check an essay, how they check, how what they look for, what IELTS people they look for in your writing. So these are those things. As you can see, it is available all over the Google. So you can write just task band evaluators for writing task 2, you'll be getting it. So as you can see, these are the bands 987654321. These are the bands. And these are like on the thing in the white ribbon. This is, sorry, black one is what? These are the topics. So these are the parameters actually. So first thing is like task response, which I'm going to present to you in a greater way. Just a minute. You'll be understanding this. Yes. So task response, 25% weightage task response, 25% cohesiveness and coherence, 25% lexical resources, and 25% grammatical range and accuracy. So what task response is exactly? We are going to talk about that. So it is like I will be starting with band 7. So it is like addressing all parts of the task. First thing is addressing all parts of the task. Now, what most of the people do, they say that, just a minute, guys, somebody is there who is knocking the door. Just a minute, I'll be letting him or her in. Okay, welcome, Ritu ma'am. Okay, we are doing this. Okay, so task response, as you can see. So addressing all parts of the task, what does that mean? So I'll be telling you, addressing all part of the task. So what does that mean? For example, like this question asks you, like mother or father, who's better at parenting? So you say that your opinion is that mothers are better at parenting. So what you'll be doing is what one person would be doing, he would be writing an essay in which the introduction he'll be writing, then he'll be writing the main body one and two, and he'll be moving out onto conclusion. But all the way he'll be writing only one thing, that how mothers are better, how mothers are better, how mothers are better, but he will not be mentioning the role of father. Why? The question asks like, who is better at parenting, fathers or mother? Do you agree or disagree? So if you are agreeing or disagreeing, whatever you are doing, you have to touch the other part of the story also. That means if you are going to write about mother, so you need to write about father also. That means you need to write about your side and the opposite side also. Whether it would be lesser, whether it would be more, that depends. But okay, so your side or opposite side. Okay, so I think this is quite understandable. So addressing all part of the task. Now the second thing which is important, which comes into the picture, is maintaining and taking a standpoint. Now what is a standpoint? That means if you say that, okay, I am with both. I believe that mothers and fathers are the spokes of the same wheel, and they're the facets of the same coin, and I am going to stand with the same, like both are good. I love my mother and father. I would be definitely be taking both sides. Don't do that. This is not, I mean, general life. It is IELTS. It is an exam. You need to understand what the criteria are. If you do not be adhering to the criteria, just simply you'll be losing your marks. So don't do that. Standpoint means you have to take one solid standpoint. So it can be in this case that mother. Okay, let's say that I am there with mother. So I say that yes, mothers are better at parenting than fathers, or females are better than males at parenting. So various ways you can say that. So one standpoint you need to maintain. Now the next thing is, so one standpoint means clear position. As you can see here, clear position means standpoint. Now, the third thing which is very important is presents, extends, and support the main ideas, but there may be tendency to overgeneralize, or supporting ideas may lack focus. Okay, leave it. So, what is this present, extend, and support main idea? I'll tell you. So, the third thing which is important is that there is a there are there is a main idea under which there are supported ideas, and then there are further extension of ideas. Now, what are these things? So, the main idea means what? Like, suppose that you are writing this essay on mother and father. Now, the first main body one, you are writing that you are there with mother. So, you'll be writing the opposite side. Okay, the father related thing. Okay, so you'll be writing, for example, I will be writing main body two, and you will be writing features of mother's parenting. Mother's parenting. So, features. So what are the features of mother's parenting? Like they take care of the children. They do what? They help them in studies, or they do what? Tell me what they do. What mothers do for kids? They take care of the children. They make them study. What they do? They beat them, right? They discipline them.
Building up a good character or something like that.
Yes, building a good character.
And not at least, but there's a connection between kids and mother. So
Yes,
that is the point.
right, Ankur. So these are the points. So these are what? These all points are actually sub points or subtopics or sub points, which we call it as supported ideas. So what are the supported ideas? These are the supported ideas, right? So what is the main idea? This is the main idea. Main idea is what? Main idea is features of the, this is the main idea. Sorry. So the main idea is, that means the main theme of the paragraph 2 or main body 2. It is main body, it's not main body, it's main body 2. So the main body 2, if you are, for example, if you are writing main body 2, now the main idea will be features of mother's parenting. And the supported ideas will be all those points which are there. And what would be extension of ideas means example. We'll be giving an example of a good mother. So this is extension of ideas. After writing these three things, your paragraph will be closed. That means main body 2 or main body 1 will get closed. So this is the third element which is required in task response. If you would be doing it correctly, all the things are good. You have written all the parts of the essay. You have addressed all the parts. You have maintained a very good standpoint. And then further you are writing, main body, main ideas, then supported ideas. I'm highlighting this main ideas, then supported ideas, then extension of ideas. Then what will happen? You'll get your score. No. If it is well organized, well written, like for example, sufficiently addresses all parts of the task, presents a well developed response to the question with relevant, extended, and supported ideas. If you'll be doing good, the more better you'll be doing, the better band you will be getting. You probably can get 9, you can get 8, you can get 7, you can get 6 as well. Now see what there it is written in 6. Addresses all parts of the task, although some parts may be more fully covered than others. Presents a relevant position, although the conclusions may be unclear or repetitive. Now, what you have done, you have written that, okay, everything is good. Now, in the end, you will be saying that you get emotional and you will be saying that, oh my God, mother and father, how can I skip father? They both are good. Again, you're writing what? In the end, both are good. So, you'll be getting a 6. Why? Because your idea is unclear. Your conclusion may be unclear or repetitive. Okay, so this is, you need to be very clear about that. You cannot do things just like that in IELTS. Okay, so this is that thing. So this was all about the task response, which holds 25% importance in this particular thing. Now, so task response, as I told you more about. So this is about the task response. Now, next is, now next thing is cohesiveness and coherence. So what cohesiveness and coherence means? So cohesiveness means bringing all together all your thoughts and ideas by planning, strategizing, and brainstorming. We are going to use some linking words and avoid errors in linking words. Okay, that's okay. But what exactly it means, I'll be telling you. You need to understand, like, if there is a sentence, like for example, Ram is going to market. Okay, and he met his friend. So you are going to say that Ram is going to market and he met his friend. When you'll be adding an and in between, so and is what? And is a conjunction coming out from the family of fanboys. Now what fanboys are? It is for and, not, yet. So these are those conjunctions which actually, these conjunctions are normally generally used a lot. So we call it as fanboy. There is an acronym by the name of fanboy. So Ram is going to market and he met his friend. That means you are joining two sentences using a cohesive device, that is and. Okay. Now similarly, you will be saying that okay, Ram and now see this second statement. First is this, and second is now Shyam. So Shyam is going to market also. Now the third element enters Shyam. So what will happen is like you will be writing that Ram is going to market and he met his friend, and you will be writing like this. Moreover, Shyam is also going to market. So what is this? Moreover. Now moreover is again another cohesive device. That means it is doing what? It is actually maintaining a relation with the previous one. That means making and maintaining the relationship between these two sentences is actually done by moreover, right? So it is the linking word. So it is what they are doing is they are linking these two sentences. So that's why they are called linkers, connectors. Why they are connecting the two sentences? That's why they are connectors, connecting the two sentences. They are linking the two sentences. That's why they are called as linkers. Okay, that's why they are termed as cohesive devices. Now, what are cohesive devices? Cohesive devices comprises of, it is like connectors. We call it as conjunctions. We call them as connectors. We call them as linkers, right? We call them as discourse markers. Various things are there. So these are what? These are cohesive devices. The more usage of cohesive device you'll be doing, you'll be getting a better mark. And better marks will be getting. So these are the cohesive devices. I think I would have made to understand you this one clearly. Is it understandable now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, just a
Yes,
minute.
sir.
Okay, this one is there. Now, next thing is cohesion. Cohesion we have done. So this was all about what? This was all about cohesion. What is cohesion? Okay, now we are going to talk about coherence. What is coherence? So what is coherence? Coherence is something. Here is coherence. I would be telling you about this. Yes. So band evaluators they say that okay, what coherence is? We'll be seeing in the PPT. So here comes coherence. Sequencing information and ideas logically. Paragraphing presents a clear central topic within each paragraph and referencing a substitution. Now, these four, five things are something which we refer to as coherence. Now, what coherence exactly means, you need to understand by seeing this band evaluators or band descriptors. Now, see, here it is written for band 677. Logically organization organizes information and ideas. There is clear progression throughout. What you need to understand that there should be clear progression or sequencing information and ideas logically. So first thing is that you need to have your ideas, what you are going to write. It should not be the last thing first, rather it should be the first thing first and last thing last. That means sequencing information step by step or clearly. Now you need to understand what does that mean. That means you cannot ram into something and you will be saying that okay, I remember that I sat in the car and then it was driven by my chauffeur, and I went directly to the hotel, and now I'm sitting in a room. No, you sat in the car, your driver drove the car, and then you came into the hotel, then you sat on the chair. I mean, that is that is what? That is step by step. That is sequencing, one by one. Not doing it just that, okay, I woke up from the dream, okay, and I say that, oh, this happened. So something past you will not be describing just like that. You'll be doing sequencing, one information after another one, right? So one by one, you need to mention the things. Okay. So first things first, last things last. Now the next thing is, you can see here, manages all aspect of cohesion well, it's okay. Uses paragraph sufficiently and appropriately. Now, what does that mean? That means that your paragraph, as I told you, 1:2. How many paragraphs were there? 1:2:1. Now, you will be saying that I'll be writing not 1:2:1. I'll be writing 1:4:1. Because why? Because I just want to do that. So 1:4:1, you'll be losing your marks. Why? Because you're not doing it as per the required parameters. It's 1:2:1. So why you are going for 1:4:1? So paragraphing should be clear, should be well placed. I mean, these paragraphs should be good. And one more thing, presents a clear central topic within each paragraph. Now, people fail to understand this. Clear central topic. Now, in this particular question, as we were discussing about mothers and father, in main body one is dedicated to father. You will not touch mother in that, and vice versa. That means when you're talking about mother in one paragraph, one complete paragraph is dedicated to mothers. So do not put fathers into it and vice versa. That means in main body one, if it is allocated for fathers, just write about fathers, don't write about mothers. Okay, and if main body two is for mothers, don't write about fathers. So that is what? That is a clear central topic within each paragraph. So these things, if you'll be achieving, then you'll be getting another 25% marks, that is in cohesion and coherence. That is eight. Suppose that you will be getting 8 marks in the first one and 8 marks in the second one. So it is 8 and 8. They'll be averaging it out later on. Now, next thing is lexical resources. What is lexical resource? So people confuse it with the good academic vocabulary. It is not the academic vocabulary. It is the vocabulary. Okay. So the next thing is, it is uncommon lexical items. That means uncommon vocabulary. And further, it is about one more thing, like if you'd be using some collocation. So that means 3 points are there. If you'd be using related vocabulary, if you'd be using uncommon vocabulary, if you'd be using collocation, then you will be getting a better score. So related, uncommon, collocation. So what is vocabulary? Related vocabulary. Then the second thing is uncommon vocabulary. Now, what is uncommon vocabulary? Can you please tell me? Any examples? And then collocation.
We can call office as in workplace.
Huh?
We can call office as in workplace.
Yes, that's okay. That could be.
And about
So I'll be telling you one uncommon
maybe
vocabulary, that is, everybody writes in the conclusion, in the end, they write like to conclude with, or here in the end, I would like to conclude. Various things people write. So you will not be writing that. You will be saying that to recapitulate. So what you are going to write? Recapitulate means the same thing. I mean, you are not writing, you are not saying that to conclude, you are saying to recapitulate. So to recapitulate is an uncommon vocabulary. There are various things are available in the market. So there are plethora of things are available in the market. Plethora. Then you'll be saying that, okay, to put it in a nutshell. So you'll not be writing to put it in a nutshell like people say that. Then you'll be writing something else apart from this. So what you'll be writing is to encapsulate. So these are the forms of uncommon vocabulary which we'll be reading in a greater detail. Now, what are collocations? Collocations are those words which are used by native English speakers, I mean native speakers like Canadians or British people, they generally used to crack a lot of jokes, and they use various slangs also. They use various types, but these are we are not talking about slangs or some shortcuts. We are not talking about those things. We are talking about some good English related, some short phrases you can say, or you can say those things which are very popular. Like for example, I would be saying, and of I brought this month a lot of gadgets. I say, I brought this month a lot of gadgets. But here I would be saying, I brought this month an awful lot of gadgets. Now, what is this? When you say an awful lot, that means a lot of. But awful lot is what? Awful lot is a collocation. So these are the collocations. Which when you'll be employing this in your writing, then definitely you'll be getting better marks. So if it be just making and maintaining these 3 points in a better way, so what you'll be getting good marks in lexical references. Now let's move on to the next part of it. Now the other thing comes is grammatical range and accuracy. So tell me people, everybody, please open up your mics. What grammatical range and accuracy means? What do you think?
Maybe the use of punctuation marks and capital letters if we are starting a new sentence.
Okay.
Maybe.
Anybody else?
No, sir, that will come under accuracy,
That's good.
the grammatical.
So what is range?
Yes. Sir, I forgot actually.
But
Grammatical range, or we can say to use a complex sentences in that.
Yes, maybe. Uses of complex and complete
very
sentences.
well in IELTS exam. So I would be saying that she would have perfectly written the grammatical range part. What is range is? Range is like type of sentences which you use to write. The type of sentences means the type of structures. Structures, sentences. There are various type of sentences are there. There can be simple sentences. There can be complex sentences. There could be conditional sentences, compound sentences. So various type of sentences are there. Phrase sentence, question sentence. So when you write a mix of these sentences, then it is called, that you are writing a good grammatical range. So the more wider it would be, the better marks you'll be getting. See, here this person would have got, if you'll be seeing that, this is for 8 bands. So for 8 band, what you need to do is, you need to write a wide range. You need to use wide range of structures with majority of sentences to be error free. But this is the main thing, wide range of structure. Suppose that you are writing a level down to this, so you are using a variety of complex structure, but you are not using wide range. So that's why you are landing upon 7 bands. Again, if you are using a mix of simple and complex sentence forms, then you are landing upon the 6 band. That means that you know how to use complex sentences like although I was going there, I met with a friend. I mean, something like that. You're using although, even though, these are complex sentence forms you are using. So you'll be getting a 6 band. But why? Because you have not used a variety. The keyword is variety. And why not? Why only variety? Why not talk about wide range? Everywhere you spread those sentences just like that. You are so well versed. You are so well versed that you have developed a flair in writing, and now you're just writing it like anything, and you're getting into the wide range, and you are easily scoring a 8 in this. So it is quite the most difficult part in IELTS essay writing, which people generally don't know about, and they generally don't get good marks because of this. So you need to get into this, that is wide range of structures you need to write. Okay. So this is called grammatical range. Accuracy means grammar. The errors, the inappropriacies, you should not do those things. But I'll tell you one more thing, that if your range is good and accuracy is down there, I mean it is not so good, then they will be treating few minor errors as only slips. That means if the grammar is not very good, but then also you can score better in IELTS. It gives you an opportunity to do that. That's wonderful, isn't it? So this is all about, see, uses only a limited range. It is all about the how many marks this person? 5 bands. So those people who are writing just simple sentences or limited range of structure, then they will be getting 5. Now, suppose that you knew about this and you scored what? You scored, for example, Now, let's see what would be the marking criteria. You have scored 8 in task response. You have scored 8 in cohesion and coherence. You have scored 7 or 8 again in what we call it as the lexical resources, because your vocabulary, you're writing good vocabulary, but you don't knew much about the type of sentences, so you have scored only a 4. So see what the average will be. Ankur, what would be 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 4?
28.
And 28 averages.
It's around 7, I guess. Yeah.
So 7 bands. This person would have got 7 bands. In what? In task 2. We are talking only about task 2, not task 1 and 2, or not complete writing. We are talking about just task 2. You have scored 7 bands. Had it been a case like this, that you would have got an 8 band in this also, then it would have got converted into 32, and this could have been 8 bands. See how it impacts your score. Those simple things which we ignore, which we don't pay heed to. We think that what type of sentences? Leave it. I am good at maintaining this cohesion. I know coherence. I know task response. Why to get worried about these all things? Oh, leave above all. I have crammed the normal Lewis book, so I have good vocabulary. So if you have good vocabulary, if you are writing well, then also you can score less. So you need to be understanding this. This mathematics you need to understand. Now, one more thing. Now, suppose that you have scored 32, and you have got how many? 8 bands in task 2 and 6 bands, similarly 6 bands in task 1. That also gets evaluated in almost a similar way, but that is not the exact way. So, how much will be a final score? How final writing score is calculated, I'll be telling you today. It is like T1, task 1 plus task 2 upon 2, right? The average. So suppose that you will be getting a 6 band, you have got a 6 band in task 1, plus you have got a 8 band in task 2. So what will be the average? Tell me. 8 plus 6 by 2. What would it be?
7. 7.
But in IELTS, you forgot one thing. I told you recently. I was just
The score of the task 2 will be like task 2 will be added twice.
right. So task will be added twice. And that means 6 plus 8 plus 8 upon 3 will be the formula. So this will be the formula. T2 will be added twice. So now you'll get to understand that how important it is to write a good essay. So this would be what? The score will change, right? So it is around 7.5, something like that. Okay. So this is how it makes difference when you score more in IELTS essay, right? I hope I have made myself clear to you, everyone. So now I would be, okay. So it's almost about to get over. We talked about all this. Yes. So it's the end. Okay. So guys, it is the end of this particular part. Do find this sheet and you can easily be understanding the things. This is a very important sheet. Okay. Now I'm going to wind up the session today. Thank you everyone for joining us. If you have any questions, you can ask me right now.
Sir, I have a question. Like one of my friends, she was saying like they can take extra sheets in task 2.
Yes, they can take. You can take extra sheets. That's right. But
Okay.
generally, it is recommended ideally not to take because anybody
But sir,
every
if they will take extra sheet, but there's a word limit, like you only have to write 250 or 2. So what's the use of taking the
yes,
extra sheet?
no use of it actually. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay, so you can take if you want.
yes, if you want to take, you can take. Okay,
Okay,
this is
okay,
the right. Yes,
okay.
thank you everyone for joining. Thank you everyone. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.